Two, one, two, one, two, three. Are we live? Are we live? I think we are live. Okay, I think we are ready to go. Just making sure that the audio is okay and it's not too loud. Check in. Okay, let's get started. Yeah. Welcome back, my peeps, to Chill Out Records. I just dropped a new song, Mixed Emotions Part 2. So go and check it out. It's a lyric video. So let me know what you guys think in the comments or whatever. And so we're gonna react to the remaining part of the story for Sophia and Bumpy. So let's get started with that. Okay, so let's see if the appropriate people have joined. If the appropriate people have not joined, where are the whips for the inappropriate? for the people that haven't joined, where are the whips? Okay, if you're late, I am back. Oh, poof! Thank you for joining as well. Yes, we didn't finish the story yesterday. we didn't finish the story yesterday. Oh yes, Trixie is here. We are here. Okay, fantastic. We've got Poof, we've got Trixie, we've got I think Miriam. Miriam should be here as well. I don't know, but whoever is here, I'm one of the appropriate audiences. I don't know. You have been missing quite a few lives, but it's okay, Poof. We'll let it slide. Okay, let's get the kids out of here. Where are the kids?
We watoto endeni mkafanya nini? Homework tafadhali.
All right, now that the kids are out of the way, now we can get started. All right, let's play this here, man.
So and so, you can go to, you have so and so, you have so and so, and you have so and so. Why are you here? You complain to so and so and so and so about how nagging I am, how this and this and that. And since that's what they are, why not be with them? It's like, no, I want to be with you, but as
Recap, Poof. Okay, actually, yeah, we actually do need a recap because from what I remember last was Sophia is now married. She's in the house with the husband and they're living. But now there's some issues where Sophia feels like she wants to get away from this man. She's really disgusted with this guy. She just starts hating his guts and she wants to now, she doesn't even want to get intimate with this guy. That's the last thing I remember. Okay. Good, Miriam, you're also here. Good, fantastic. At least it's a good Sunday. I hope you're all having a good Sunday. Let's just finish this story because, man, it starts getting really messed up from here. So she's now talking about from the point where things are not really good at home. Basically, that's what it is. Okay, so let's see what she says.
usual, you're not a submissive person, you're not peaceful. And I'm like, and I won't be. If me being that means that you're allowed to talk ill about me and everything, then no.
Oh, and the last thing was she got slapped or she got beaten in front of another girl inside the house. Yes, that's what I remember. Okay.
And I storm out. He came, pulled my hair, slapped me, punched me, and I'm like, why? And then at the end, he pushed me towards the wall that I hit the corner of the wall. So I had like, my head was swollen. And he apologizes as usual. And I also apologize. And that was a cycle for like 2-3 months. That's all we would do. I'd find out about a woman. He'd hit me. He'd apologize. We'd move on. Find out, hit me, apologize, move on. That's what we did. One specific time, I remember I now needed to go back to work because the money he had apparently measured. And now he's telling me, oh, we can't afford a nanny. We can't afford this. And I'm like, I cannot survive without that nanny. Because being this new mom is not easy. I need that.
Yeah, so much for being a leader of the relationship. Now all of a sudden the money's run out. I mean, you have no authority over this woman. You can't be beating her like, first of all, I don't condone violence at all. That the fact that he's just doing that, that's just like there's something wrong with his brain, okay? And then to top it off, he's saying that she needs to be submissive. Submissive to what? Where's the money? Submissive to what? Where's the money, man? Where's the money? Where are the whips for this guy? We need to give him some whips first. Where are the whips? Freaking hell, man. Where's the audio effect for the whips? Let's give him another one. There we go. Okay, now we can carry on.
Help, you're not always home, so he's not going to work. He's like, it's okay. So he's like, you need...
Can we have a round of applause for this, Mr. Bumpy? Oh my goodness. A round of applause? What?
To figure out then how we'll pay the nanny. And I'm like, it's okay, I'll go back to work. So I started calling up my clients and I'd ask them, do you want my services back? Do you want my services back? I got my schedule full and I was happy. So I started going back to work. Me going back to work was a bother to Bumpy. It's like, oh, now you want to emasculate me. And I'm like, no, I've not told you not to look for a job. I've not told you not to look for something. I'm just going back to what I was doing prior to pregnancy and giving birth. So he's like, no, but now it means you're earning more, you're providing for us. And I'm like, it's okay, I'll do that until you are able to like come back and do that. And I left it at that. But now...
Wait, hang on a second. She's even willing to, man, even after being beaten up, she's willing to go and work, come home and bring money and help with the bills in the house. God damn.
Now, I came to notice one specific day he left and told me he's going to a wake with his best friend. A mutual friend of theirs had passed and they need to go. And I told him, it's okay. You need to leave. You've also been in the house with the baby. You've been hands-on a lot. Let me now bond with the baby. I specifically sent him money to go have coffee, have lunch, whatever he'll do with the boys. Because I know he's not been working and I'm the one who's earning in the house. And I used to do this a lot. It wasn't a bother for me. So once we did that, he left. And my intuition just told me, there's one specific lady we used to fight about a lot. My intuition just told me, I feel like he's with this lady. And the reason was because I asked him, communicate with me throughout, also just to get to know if I'm okay. I was like, you're leaving me with, the child was, I think, a few months. So I was like, you're leaving me with this child. Then the child is new to me. I'm also new to the child. Like, I'm not used to it by now. He's like, it's okay. He gets there and communication goes off.
Yeah, but Trixie, I mean, women can do anything for love, yeah, but I mean, to have some freaking like common sense at least. Like, if this guy's not a leader and he's disrespecting you and he's doing all of these things, like, why would you stay in that relationship? Obviously, I don't think you've watched the first part. The first part was yesterday. I was streaming it, but just go and check it out and just see how messed up this is.
No picking, of course.
And she's still going out of her way to do now, send him money and go into the workforce. And like, imagine she's just given birth. Now she's going back into the workforce to go and pay all the bills. And he's going out with his friends to go party.
No replying text. And if a text it's replied, it's one word after 2-3 hours. And I was just like, this behavior seems familiar when it's with this specific person. I talked to a mutual friend we had with the lady I allegedly thought Bumpy had gone to see, and told this lady, I think Bumpy has gone to see so-and-so. And since you're closer to so-and-so, please just find out for me. You'll just have done me a solid one, because I've been thinking of leaving this marriage and I'm just looking for strong reasons why. So this would be among them. Just like, sure, bet.
Miriam, come on. What do you mean sometimes common sense leaves your brain? That's on you. If common sense has left your brain, that's not my problem. If I'm a guy and I'm mistreating you and you don't have common sense to leave, that's on you. That's on you.
She finds the information and she actually was sent a video of Bumpy in that woman's house, seated on her bed. I was sent. I saw it and I was like, okay, this is interesting. Kept quiet.
Man, every time she just says interesting, you know something fucked up has happened.
Later on, as Bumpy told me, we finished with the boys, I'm on my way back. This lady that Bumpy was just from called me. She's like, your man was here and I can clearly see we're always having a back and forth because I've heard of you in the past and I'm hearing of you right now. And right now I'm hearing it in different dynamics. And I'm like, what are the dynamics? It's like, now my friend has told me you're married to him, you have his baby. And like, I'm like, yes. She even asked me, did you do anything to show you're married? I'm like, our parents.
So a video will be more solid evidence rather than her seeing the woman in her house physically. I don't know. Wait, what are you talking about, Poof?
His elders and my elders met. I feel like traditionally that's strong. It's like, okay, well, this is my man. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Oh, so in her mind, that was her man.
Yeah. And I'm like, ask her why. And she tells me, this is my man because we've gone to Diani together. We've stayed in Airbnbs for days together. Where were you in those situations? And I'm like, when did you go to Diani? She's like, this day to this day. And I'm like, I was told he was at work. When did you go to the Airbnb? This day to this day. And I was like, I had gone to my mom's. Like, oh. So every time.
Let me just pause there for a second. If you're married, you're living with your wife, and you're spending multiple nights outside without any like logical reason, that's already a red flag, yo. What are you spending the nights out for? What are you spending the night? How can you be working all day and all night? That one. Bumpy was with another woman in the sitting room. She saw that. Yeah. Oh, man. This is just, hey, man.
He was going out for travel. It was with this lady. And anytime I said I'm going to spend time with my mom.
Okay, the business trip thing, I don't know, man. Even the whole business trip, like you would obviously be in communication and have like video calls and stuff, isn't it? Like you would be on video call with your wife at night before you go to sleep. I don't know, man. I don't know. I meant she told this other friend to get her evidence on Bumpy with another woman. But what about the time she saw him with a woman at her house? Wasn't that more of an evidence? Poof, you need to keep up, man. There was evidence from the beginning of this whole interaction, man. So, I mean, every step of the way. And then every time there is evidence, all she says is, interesting. I hate to say this, but I think Sophia was used to this cycle. Yeah. It just became like a normal routine for her.
Sleepover at my best friends or something. He was also with this lady, or she would come home to her house. Yeah. And I was perplexed. I could not understand. Bumpy came home. I could see that the clothes that Bumpy had are the same ones.
Poof. What am I not getting? What's there to get? Nothing. None of this story makes sense anyway. So what's there to get, really? Okay, let's just carry on. We still have like 30 minutes of this thing left. The Bumpy guy. Okay, what about the Bumpy guy? What's there to get? Everything that he does and says is just mental. There's no logic behind it. So what's there to get? Do you want to come in and talk? Damn it. I haven't set up a call thing so that you can join and, give us your 2 cents on this. But actually, that would be nice. Let me see if I can work on that.
John for fact. I showed Bumpy what I had. Bumpy, but at the moment I was showing Bumpy the video of him in that woman's bed. He had changed because I was outside and hanging the clothes and our daughter was asleep. On coming back, he's changed because he was on a bike, so he's changed. So I was assuming maybe he felt cold, he needed to warm up. He came, he's changed, and I asked him, I show him, he's like, with a straight face, he told me, but that's not what I was wearing. I asked him, what do you mean? I saw you leaving and I've seen you come. I know what you're wearing. He hid the clothes because that lady had told him that I now know he was here. So he hid the clothes under the bed and took me till the laundry basket and showed me, here, I've not changed. I've just removed a hoodie, and he put another hoodie there. And he told me, but See, so you're always just being told something by other women and you're always believing it. And I'm like, on this one, no, this one is straight from my intuition and I'm not going to betray it. And then I told him that, and I'm like, if that's how you want to manipulate me, it's fine, but I know you're at this woman's house. And he goes ahead as telling me, we can call her. And I'm like, yes, take out your phone. Take out your phone. And I even have her number on my Truecaller. So I'll just search her name and I will call. And he slaps me. Not once, not twice, not thrice. It's just a series of slaps. And I'm like, why? I'm screaming at this point. The moment he hears me screaming, he closes the door and hides the keys. So I'm screaming. I'm like, why are you slapping me? He's like, because you're always letting other women tell you your insecurities have led us to this point. And I'm like, what insecurities? And he tells me, you're insecure about your new body, your tummy, you have stretch marks. And I'm like, so do the women you are with. There's no woman living here that does not have stretch marks. We grow. We are moving. We are evolving. We come with stretch marks. You also have stretch marks. So why? No, you're just jealous. You have a lot of insecurities. And I'm like, no, Bumpy.
Did you ever tell him that you have insecurities? Not that it matters, honestly. But like, did you?
I did. The first time I got my baby, I told him I'm not used to my new size.
And you're actually so petite. You're literally like a size 6, right? 6 or 8?
Actually, now I'm 10, 12.
Okay, yeah, but you're still very slim.
tight.
Yeah.
So prior, I was 4'6". I was a size 4'6", and now I'm up to 10, 12. It's something I was not used to. I didn't know what to do with a curvy body.
I hope you know you look so good.
Yes,
Sophia.
now I do. Thank you very
look
much.
so like my dream body is a size 10. What?
So I didn't know what to do with a small waist and a bum and hip. I didn't know how to dress it. I didn't know where to begin. And for the longest part, it wasn't because...
Yeah, true, Maria.
Not that I didn't know. It's because my husband that was supposed to validate, or I feel was supposed to validate, my after-pregnancy body did not. Instead, he really body-shamed it. It was, your stretch marks don't look good. They're too dark. Your tummy is way too dark than the rest of your body. Oh, those clothes are now way too tight. You can't do this, you can't do that. It was always something I couldn't do. My body was never the right body. However, the women he complimented and chose to be with were bigger. Way bigger. Which didn't make sense. So in my head, for the longest time throughout that marriage, I always compared and tried to fit in to this specific woman Bumpy had gone to see. That's what I tried to do. Dress, talk, act, everything. I really tried to be that in my mind. Maybe he'll see me. He didn't. So this day he's hit me, he's closed the door. And I'm like, I just can't take this anymore, Bumpy. This is just way too much. It's always something. If I tell you about something you're doing, it's always me. I'm not a peaceful wife. I'm insecure. I'm listening to other people. And I'm like, no. So that day he hit me. It was the first time I told my best friend that Bumpy hit me. My best friend was like, was it the first time? It wasn't the first time, but I told her yes. I was so ashamed. I was filled with guilt, shame, and anger. My best friend is like, maybe talk to him and see what's going on. And I'm like, okay, let's try. So I Googled how to ask submissively talk to your husband.
Man, let's just give this guy some more whips, man. The fact that he just body shamed her for having a kid, man, where the freaking whips, man? Where the whips? We should have been whipping this guy from the first episode. Man.
Are you crazy?
And so that he can just talk to me without the anger, without the hitting. I went, spoke to him. He said something outrageous, of course, and I went crazy. I'm also talking back. He's hit me. Makia was hit last night. Today's another night. I'm being hit again. And I for the first time, I just told Bumpy that, honestly, Bumpy, eventually, we are going to get divorced. He's like, no, you have a child of this compound. You will never leave this compound. And I was like...
Finally, I think this is like the first time I'm hearing like she's actually like standing her ground and saying something that she doesn't want or doesn't agree with from his side. Like out of all this that we've just heard, am I wrong, or like this is the first time I'm hearing like this, and like from this entire story, this is the first time I'm hearing her say, "No, this is what's going to happen." God damn.
Yeah, okay. So I asked him, what happens to the children of that you sire that are from this family and this compound? And I was like, your other child is your child.
Oh, yes, there was the lady with the birth certificate. So it was his child?
It was his child.
And you knew this?
Yes.
Okay. So
she did a DNA test that I paid for.
Oh,
my
shit.
God.
So
That's 3 kids now. The first baby mama, Sophia, and this other chick. Man, just like let that sink in. Now these are 3 kids that wouldn't have a father figure, the right father figure in their lives ever. What do you think they're going to grow up to be?
she was pregnant, yes. And the other
did his mom know?
No.
Okay.
There was also the baby mama. So I was like,
Oh, yes.
you've been having children and they're not in this compound. And I feel like the moment they're not in this compound, they're suddenly doing well. So what again are you going to be telling me? He went crazy. He punched me. At this moment, I was punched in my ribs and I could feel I'm not breathing. And I could feel like I'm tasting blood in my mouth. And I'm like, what's going on? By the time I'm processing this, he slapped me. He's pulled my hair. He's banged me on the wall. I can hear my daughter screaming. And I'm like, Bumpy, our daughter is screaming because you're making me scream. Have some decency. And he's like, I don't care. I really don't care. You're here disrespecting me, disrespecting this household, disrespecting our marriage just because of some women. And I'm like, wow. It was never him. He was never at fault. It was always me. And I was hit.
But like even after all that evidence and everything, he still keeps saying that it's just like accusations from women. These are just hearsay from women.
And by the time he was going to now cut my daughter because she was crying, I was not bleeding. My eyelid had swollen because I had banged myself on the wall. My rib felt like it was broken because I could taste blood in my mouth. Like I had blood in my mouth. And I just sat down where he left me and I was crying and I was asking myself honestly, why? 2 days went by, I couldn't go to work. How am I going to explain to my clients, why is my lip busted? Why is my nose swollen? Why is my eyelids? I don't have an explanation. Plus, I'd been lying so many times to my clients about the bruises I have. It now felt like my clients are just going to suspect me now. I stayed home for a week. I lost clients during that week because they could not understand the inconsistency. I couldn't tell them of the inconsistency. There are some clients that are really concerned and really called and could not hang up until I told them the truth. They would tell me, it's okay, I'll call you later when your husband is not around. And I want you to tell me what's going on.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Whew.
And I had 2 clients that were like, you know what? It's okay, I'll give you this month off. And it was under the condition, you need to leave. I want by the next month, you're done and you've left. And I'm like, okay. I was like, okay. I told my best friend of now everything. One day I just sat down and I told her of the 3 Psalms, of all the heating and everything. And she's like, you can't do this. You have a daughter. It can go on. And I was like, yes. But every time I said yes, it's true, it can go on, I still stayed in that marriage. It made no sense. That day I was hit. Week 1, I'm not going to work. After that, it got to a point where he would not allow me to leave the compound with my daughter. Whether I'm going to the shop, no. It got to a point, if he wanted to talk to me and he thought the conversation would get heated, he'd take our daughter to the mom to hold our daughter. And it was crazy. He'd come home, Bumpy would come to the house, we'd talk. He'd hit me. I had to be hit and then go back to his mom, take my daughter as though I've not been hit. This is okay. We were just talking. So it's normal marital stuff. And go back to the house. Now breastfeed my daughter while crying. So after some time I got a nanny, of course. One day my nanny is there. And a few weeks after my nanny was home, I had lost my phone visiting my best friend. It was snatched by one of the Buddha guys. So I'm using a kabambe, the small button phone that we always use. And I think somebody, probably a wrong number, texted me, "Hi dear." And there were very many hi dears like under that number. It wasn't a saved number because I didn't know who it was. So he saw it. I'm in the shower. He's opened the door. He's like, oh, these people who are texting you, hi dear, are the ones that are making you here always question me. And these women that I'm always telling you there's nothing to worry about. Is this the reason? They wouldn't even text you anything decent in this time. I'm like, what are you even talking about? What's hi dear? Or who's texted that? I don't know anything about it. He tells me there's a number here that has texted you hi dear so many times. And I'm like, I have nothing to do with that. I don't know who that is. Because I have nobody who texts me hi dear. And he doesn't believe me. He yanks me out of the bathroom. And he's like, you need to explain this hi dear. Is this the reason why you'd sit down and tell me you want to get divorced and eventually we will? I'm like, no, the reason we get divorced is because of you, your anger, and you constantly hitting me. He's like, yeah, if you are peaceful and if you are submissive, I wouldn't need to be hitting you. You have anger issues. And I'm like, okay. I just said, okay. He got mad. He started hitting me. I'm wrapped in a towel at that time. He's hit me. He's thrown the kabambe towards my face. He's like, you and these are my ideas. These are your options. And I'm like, I have no options. Honestly, there's nothing I'm doing wrong. And I don't know the idea who it was. And I'm apologizing. I'm sorry if it offended you. At that time, I don't even know who it is. I don't even know what he's talking about. That went. We slept. I woke up. I'm not going to work. I'm weak too. No work. My nanny has come. I've already started weaning my baby. And my nanny asks, Mama so-and-so, mtoto atakula nini? And I'm like, can do pumpkin, this and that for like asubuhi, and then try something else. Try some porridge, like I've just explained. And then Bumpy comes from the bedroom. He's like, you, madam, hi dear. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, you need to let that go because I have no idea who that is. And he pulls me from where I was seated and pins me to the wall and slaps me and punches my tummy. Where he's holding me, I beat his hand for him to let go. And I rushed out. And I was screaming in the compound. He immediately took our daughter to the mom, like he always does. And I'm like, you know what? I want to leave. I actually want to leave today. I want to leave this marriage. I'm done. And he's like, you can go, but leave my daughter. And I'm looking at him. The daughter he's saying for me to leave is 4 months old. 4.5 at most. So I'm asking him, leave my daughter, how? She's a breastfeeding baby. You don't even breastfeed. You pump that milk and you go to work and meet those people who write text messages for you, like saying hi dear. And I'm like, are you going to base this whole conversation on hi dear from somebody I don't know? And like, those are your options. I don't care. You want to leave? Go. Leave my child. And I'm like, I just pushed through him. I went upstairs and to the mom and was trying to take my daughter. As I was trying to take my daughter from my mom-in-law, I would see her turn around for me not to access my daughter and take her from her arms. And I just looked at her and I'm like, I asked, are you turning so that I don't take my daughter? It's like, no, you know you're angry. And I'm like, what does that anger have to do with my child? This is my child. I gave birth to this child. I want to leave this marriage and I want to live with my child. Eventually, Bumpy's brother came in and I was not allowed to take the child. After all, I was only allowed to breastfeed her, and on breastfeeding, they all stood there as I breastfed until she fell asleep. At this point, I have just texted my best friend what has just happened. My best friend is like, I can't take this anymore. You're hurt, I'm not okay, and I'm afraid you're going to die. She texted my mom. She called my mom and told her everything, from the threesomes to me being hit to everything. My mother called me boiling. And I told my mom, it's okay, let me just come home. I'll come to you, don't come. I left. I went to my mom's house. I'm crying. My mom is not understanding. She's like, Mom, you're too beautiful to be going through this. I'm crying. I'm trying to understand. When did it get to this point? Like, when did I even let it get to this point? And it was crazy. My mom is like, no, you need to leave. Sat down and told my mom, I want 2 weeks and I'll have left. She asked me what's going to happen in 2 weeks. She's like, I won't tell you. In 2 weeks, I'm going to come back and I'm coming back with my daughter. She's like, okay, you go back home. I went home. This man refused. to open the door for me. Completely. Until the mom had to come down to see what the commotion is about at the gate. And I'm like, he refuses me to enter the house. Bumpy's mom tells me that what you did was not right, Sophia. And I'm like, what do you mean? You people stood there as I breastfed my child, a child that I gave birth to. You people stood there and let me not take my child after I've told you I want to leave this marriage with my child. And all of you told me that I can't. So what did I do wrong? I just left and went to my mom. The same way your son, Bumpy, leaves and comes to you. So what's the problem? She's like, makes sense. I entered. Bumpy's dad now is on the phone. I'm being told of how disrespectful I am and how I should learn to live with Bumpy. And I just told him immediately, no. Before you take a phone, call me and tell me I'm being disrespectful. Ask your boy what he specifically did. Ask for the real story, not this surface story that he tells you that tumejibishana, we've had an argument. No. Tell him to tell you exactly what he did. And he's like, he's told me. And I'm like, if he told you, I don't think you'd be telling me I'm disrespectful. And I specifically told the dad, I want to leave this compound. Same way I came, I have free will to live with my child. The dad does not live within a country. He lives in another country, works there. So he's like, you are not allowed.
Yeah, I think if maybe Bumpy's dad was maybe around, I think maybe he could have like done something or said something, I guess. Because even that dad wasn't even in the picture. It was just Bumpy's mom. Like, goddamn. Someone's calling me right now. I can't take your call. I am live. Sorry.
How to leave that house until I come back. He wants to come back in another 3 weeks. That's all. The only time he's allowed to take an off. In my head, I'm like, no. But on the phone call, I said, that's okay. I'll wait. My mom has called my uncles that played the role of my dad. Told them of the ordeal. My one specific uncle called Bumpy and he's like, you know what? This thing is going to get to cop level real fast. So you either need to figure it out with Sophia or the cops are going to get involved. This also uncle calls me and tells me, just work it out. And I'm like, there's nothing workable here. This man is just insane. Bumpy hears and sees that actually this thing has hit the fan.
There's nothing to work
So we've
out.
gone to this store, we are talking, and he's calmed down. He wants to reason. And he now asks me, do you want your mom to take me to the cops? And I'm like, yeah. Yes, I do. Because you, your mom, your dad, your brother, everyone is okay with how you act. Everyone does not see as though you are on the wrong. Instead, it's me who's on the wrong. And everyone is just siding with you. It feels like I'm alone in this compound. And it's not going to work. So he's like, what if we find a way where we can work these things out? And I'm like, you've had so many chances where you actually would have worked on this thing and it would have worked. But now, I don't know. And he's like, I'll fight for this marriage. I'll fight for my daughter. I don't want to raise another daughter outside of marriage. And I'm like, I just told him, you have a very weird way of showing that you don't want to raise your children outside of marriage. A very weird way. And that conversation just ended there. Because he would see, like, he's talking to a different person who is thinking on their own.
I think he's got like a split personality. Like sometimes it's just one other person, and then when things are okay, he switches to a different person. Like he's got this split personality. I had to go. So, oh no, it's fine. No worries. Poof, carry on. Whatever you need to do. We're here, man. We're here. The story goes on. But I kind of feel like he's got like a split personality. Like when things are good, like he's a bad guy, and then when things are bad, he's a good guy. No worries, Poof. I'll see you later. How many women so far? We don't know. We're still the story still goes on.
Not what he was used to, and a person who is okay reporting their husband and the father of the child. So we go to the house. He's seeming nicer. He's made dinner, or rather he's making dinner. He's asking me, do I bring the child? Do you want to breastfeed? Do you want some time out? The likes. And I'm just like, no, just give me my child. I'll be fine. this point, I feel like even food.
The other thing I'm thinking is when he's having bad situations with his other women outside of the house, that's when he comes home to apologize. And then when I don't know what the fuck is going on.
He's serving me, he's about to poison me. It just feels off because he's from hitting me and not allowing me to enter the house to now being nice. It makes no sense. And it got to a point that same night, my mom and his mom had to come to our house to talk to us because, again, the arguments had started. The heating was again there.
At night?
Yes. So my mom came and it was late. I think it was midnight. I called my mom and I'm like, Mom, you need to come now. And Mama Bumpy, as usual, is like, this is marriage. It's the first year. It's going to be bumpy, of course. And it's going to be rough. They just need to figure out a few things.
It's going to be bumpy. She should have said no pun intended, but man, that's so fucked up.
Also explaining that.
What the fuck, man? Like, obviously, Bumpy's mom is going to take Bumpy's side.
Even her, she had to persevere some few things in marriage to be happy. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, that's not how it goes. Why is it that specifically when you leave a situation that's not working for you, especially if it's marriage, suddenly it's not good. It's because you're newlyweds. You're going to get over it. Why? Why do I need to go through it at all? Is what I asked. And my mom was also like, no, if she wants to leave, she wants to leave because that's what she wants. And then at that point when our parents were talking, my mom started to side with Mama Bumpy. I was looking at my mom like, Mom, what the hell are you doing? Why? Why are you siding with her? Then she just tapped me to chill. So the moment she tapped me, I just knew maybe she had a plan. So I just trusted her. So they've convinced me that let's work through this and all. And that's the narrative that was left in that room, that we're all going to
What
you see.
the fuck?
And then my mom was like, when I get home, I'll call you. And Bumpy actually escorted my mom till her house because she didn't live far away from us. And my mom got home, and as Bumpy was on the way back, she called and she was like, Mom, don't listen to any of that shit I just said right there. Just know that if you say we're leaving tomorrow, I'm there. I don't care. I'm there. I just wanted her to stop talking and for her to stop making you feel like you're the problem or marriages have to be like this. And I was like, phew, because I thought for a minute you're siding with these people. Like, of course I wouldn't. And that was that. So my mom now waited for me. My best friend waited eagerly for the day that I texted her, I've left, honestly. And we didn't speak all through, like the 2 weeks we didn't speak until the day that I left that I texted her. So after my mom has told me that, I'm now calm. I've now gone back to the house. Bumpy has come back and is like, I'm sorry that this is what it had to get to. Let's figure it out. And I just look at him and I'm like, okay. Take my child. I go to bed. He didn't sleep on the bed that day. He slept on the sitting room. The morning I woke up and I was just like, let me ask why he slept here. And he's like, I feel like our matrimonial bed should be just for us when we are happy. Because we are not happy, we are not in good terms, there's no need. And I was like, oh, okay. My nanny came again. I received her well. She came. My daughter at this point has now started to recognize her. So she sees the nanny and she's all now bubbly and all. And that day again, still not going to work. So I'm still healing from my wounds. But the face wounds that I had have healed. Now my rib is on, that's a bit painful. You can see I'm struggling to sit or stand up and the likes.
Shit.
So my nanny comes, she asks me what to make for the daughter, what I would want to eat. She serves me. She never served my hubby. So she would now ask me, Mama Nani, would I serve Baba Nani? I'm like, sure. I get up, serve, like that. So on this time, he received a phone call from a lady because he put it on speaker. And the conversation did not go as he expected to because he was trying to build a slate of transparency. But that lady sounded as though that there was like a hidden agenda they were talking about. So after the phone call, he was seated trying to explain to me why it sounded odd. And I was like, okay. Then he'd leave my phone. He'd always tell me to go through his phone. It became like almost daily. Just go through my phone. assume I'm texting people, like things like that. So I never did when he said I should. So one day I went through his WhatsApp and I'm like, it's too clean. I think I was so used to him doing something. So it was too clean. And I was like, oh, maybe he has actually just learned his lesson. So I just started maybe getting into the idea of he's learned his lesson. We're still in week 1 of me saying, remember I said I want 2 weeks, then I'll leave. So this is week 1, it's about to end. My mom is calling. She's like, pass by, we just do a check-in. I told my mom, I went through his phone and it's too clean. My mom is like, maybe he's learning or something, but don't change your mind. And I'm like, Mom, me knowing him, let's just give him a few more days. Something will just come up, me knowing him. It's like, why are you so sure? I'm like, you just wait. Once it happens, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Week 1 has ended. Now we're in week 2 before it ends. So we're in, say, day 8, day 9. I take his phone. He's on the rooftop with my daughter. They're sunbasking. He calls out from the rooftop. He's like, bring my phone. I'm like, okay. I hadn't checked his phone since that day. So it's been like about 3-4 days. I check his phone and I see this. Now WhatsApp business. I'm like, why would WhatsApp business be here? All the conversations with the women have left from WhatsApp to WhatsApp business. And of course, the girl that was in our household conversation is there.
It's a business now. Yeah, that's why I don't really trust that whole WhatsApp business thing. You've got like one line. What's the WhatsApp business for? What's the business line for? What business are you conducting? Let's give him some more whips.
And other women. And you can see there are video calls that last like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And you can tell only on days that maybe I'm not in the house. And they're there, but they've been erased. Like the call log is not been erased, but the conversations have. So I noticed the phone is also on airplane mode. So I turned it back on.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he just switched. He just changed his strategy. He was like, okay, she's always going to be checking WhatsApp. Let's open WhatsApp business. Oh, man, that's so fucked up, man.
Connected it to Wi-Fi and messages started coming in. He's like,
Shit.
hi, how was last night? How did you sleep? Like now conversations. Like these were people, they were talking last night and now today. Now this is a new day. I've started again. And I was like, yes, I just knew. I just knew it would get there. I went up and I gave him the phone just as the screen is on for him to see that I've seen the conversation and the call logs. After a few minutes, he follows me down and he's starting to explain. And I just told him, Bumpy, this is just a cycle where this is what you do. So you do this, apologize, then do this. That's a cycle you have. That's the same cycle you've been having with your previous baby mama. That's not how it works. I just told him that. And I told him, people survive as being baby mamas and being single moms. That's it works. People are doing it and they're doing it perfectly. And he's like, oh, so now you want to be a single mom? I'm like, I'd rather that than one day you're good. One day we sat down with our parents. We have a plan. 2 days, 3 days later, you're now back to talking to the women. What's that? So you think because you're not talking to them on WhatsApp, talking to them on another, like WhatsApp business is any different?
Yeah,
and he's
now
like,
it's a
no,
business.
these women just text. I'm like, really? Someone who has just highlighted a previous conversation that you have deleted are women who have just texted. And video calls. How about the video call of yesterday? And if you look at the timestamp, it's like this time I was at my mom's place. So what is that trying to indicate? I just told him, Bumpy, at this point, I'm not dumb. I can see and I'm reading in between the lines. So just stop.
Hey, man, this woman has patience. I don't think I'd have that kind of patience. Fuck. I need to learn how to be patient like her.
He got mad because I'm not listening to his excuse and I'm refusing to listen and to understand. My daughter was asleep as he held her. She just went, put my daughter to bed. And he came back and he's raising his voice and I'm like, just put the child to sleep.
Married couples shouldn't even have a password because what are you hiding? Exactly. What are you hiding? Your phone shouldn't have a freaking phone lock on because your partner needs to be able to see what the hell you're doing just in case of anything. In case they want to contact you or know who you're contacting. Like who are you talking to? all these kind of things that like they need to know who are you reaching out to, so that in case if anything happens to you, they know who else to contact as well. And man, this is so messed up.
Don't you think you wake her up? He lowers his voice.
But you know what the messed up thing is? These tech companies now are creating apps that have the ability to hide messages, to lock specific conversations into a separate folder. Not only that, they're able to even hide apps within the phone. So even if your phone doesn't have a passcode on iOS, I know that for a fact, is you can hide apps. So there's a small section under the app drawer where it says hidden apps, and then you click on that, and then it has like, you actually see the apps that you've got installed over there. And it's just messed up. It's like even the tech giants are encouraging people to cheat. What kind of a messed up society are we living in?
Yes. He took a mug and threw it to the ceiling because he was mad I was not listening to him. I told him, it's okay. This is what you always do. You break, punch, do something, hit me. So there's nothing new in your cycle. That's how used to it I was. So I just knew. Argue with him. He punched something, break something, hit me, apologize. That was my daily cycle with him. So in this time, I even wanted him to hit me so that I could live there and go write a P. It's called a P3 or P2. That's what I wanted. And he did hit me, and to a point where he scratched my thigh. I told my mom, let's go write a P3. It was a holiday. Went, we wrote the P3. My mom had to go with that letter, because if I went with it, of course, another war would have come. So she went with it. And my mom all along was just asking me, you are that sure of him? And I'm like, yes.
Let me just say one comment. I think the police in Kenya are just shit. Where are the whips for the police in Kenya? Let's give them some whips first. Those motherfucking lazy pieces of shits. Fuck. And they're so fucking corrupt. Like, I remember the time that I had a freaking complaint and I walked up to a police officer. The guy, motherfucker, I'll never forget his face. I wish I could just go back and punch him in the throat. Piece of shit just told me, oh, you got robbed. Why don't you just give me some money and I'll help you find the freaking person who robbed you? I just felt, man, fuck these motherfuckers. I'm pretty sure when she went to the police, they must have told her like, we can't really do it. We'll think about doing something. And then you have to like freaking give them a bribe or something, and then they'll actually do something about it. Fuckers, man.
I was that sure that something would come up, especially if it includes women. It definitely will. We went home. Or rather, I went home. My mom went back to her house. So he asked me, oh, you were gone so long. Where were you? And I'm just like, no, I just...
This actually reminds me. This motherfucker owes me money. 22 G's. I went with the fucking police and those motherfuckers can't even do shit. Kosgei, you fucking owe me 22 G's, motherfucker. I'll crop this section out into a short and I'll make it a short. So Kosgei, you motherfucker, you owe me 22 G's, bitch. Pay up. Stop acting like a little bitch. You know, when people owe you, this is money that you owe me. It's not like I'm asking you. I'm not fucking begging you for money. This is money that you owe me. You know, if I was asking you, hey, can you lend me some money? You know, then that's a different thing. And you can block me. You can stop talking to me. But this is money that you owe me, bitch. Fuck you and just pay up. Imagine you have the audacity to fucking like not read my messages and block me or ignore my calls. It's not like I'm asking you to fucking like help me out, bitch. This is money you owe me. Shut the fuck up, stop acting like a little bitch, and give me my money, bitch.
Just went somewhere to get some air as I drink some milkshake. So I'm back. That's just all I needed. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. So since he still felt like I was not understanding him, or I didn't listen to his excuse as to why he was having conversations with women, he now wanted to bring it up again.
Miriam. Meeting a thief at night is much safer than meeting a police at night. This actually reminds me of that incident that I had. I'm not going to give out too much details, but all I'm going to say is I remember it was Givenchy Gardens, 7 p.m. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
And I'm like, I thought we already talked about this. And I just told him, we talked about it. You hit me about it. What more emphasis do you want? And then he just kept quiet. And he switched on the TV and that conversation ended. And then this one specific time, I had 3 days left to my 2 weeks. My nanny came again just in the morning, her normal routine. Going out my daughter, I've changed her, I've done what I should. I wanted to go to work. So I go to work and I come back. I come back and I realize that he's still in the house. He was supposed to go for some job interview and to do some online interviews as well. He's still in the house. I asked him about it. He's like, no, I didn't go. I didn't feel like it was worthwhile. And I'm like, you're not earning any money. I'm going to work. On top of going to work, I have to miss some days because you've hit me so bad. Why wouldn't you just decide to help? And then I went on and told him, with the other women, you're always buying them stuff. You're always going out for coffee. Where do you get that money? Because I don't see it in this house. In this house, you're always broke. And I'm always providing for everything.
That's
and he's like,
so shit.
So what does that mean? I'm like, it means exactly that. It means your money, whenever you get your money, it goes to other women. And I knew for a fact there's one of the women he used to see that used to give him money. So I was asking him, and how come you're given money by so-and-so and you never come back to this house? Where are you taking it? Or are you using that money to take another woman out for coffee and the likes? And he's like, you're so disrespectful. You have no respect for me as your husband. And I'm like, neither do you.
Wait, here I have a question. Miriam, for you. So let's say if he was doing this, but then other women were giving him money and then he brought it into the house, what would you think? What would you think of that? Like, let's say he was broke. Like, he's broke right now, doesn't have a job, but he's able to manipulate other women outside of the house to give him money, and then he uses that for the family. What do you think about that? Do you think that should be like forgiven? Like it's okay? I still feel like that. Okay, I'm not going to give you my opinion, but I want to know what you think.
You have no respect for me as a wife. You're disrespectful to me, disrespectful to the women you're talking to. Honestly, at this point, I don't even think you should address anything about respect. He kept quiet. I went to the bedroom. Now, late at night, we are now talking about it. I don't want to talk about it. I said what I said. He feels like he needs to talk about it. He raises his voice. 1 minute. It goes higher and higher. 1 minute, he's about to hit me with a stool. The next minute, he's now strangling me. And I'm strangled in the position that I cannot fight. He sat on my feet, that I can't push him. And his hands are around my neck to a point where I saw white and knew I was going to pass out. I stopped fighting and just stayed still. And under my voice, I was just like, you know what? I hope my daughter is okay. And I hope she's going to be okay. I accepted that I was going to die. And I accepted that the man that I once loved is the one who's going to kill me. I was okay with that. I was okay not fighting. And he let go at a point where I felt death. Vizuri, like I felt death completely. I could describe it. I could taste it. Like that's how real it was. And he took that stool and as he was about to hit me after letting go from strangling me, he banged it on the floor. It woke up his mom. His mom came. She's trying to listen to us and I just told Mama Bumpy, I need to leave your son. I need to leave. And the mom could not understand because she's never heard me saying that in the power that I said it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's still it shows that he loves the family, but still, I mean, is that really a way of putting food on the table? It's really messed up. It's like if she was let's say she was going out and doing pole dances and all that kind of stuff and earning money through that. Yeah, she's putting food on the table, but is that really a good way of doing it? So I think it's the same thing. Yeah, I totally agree.
I told my best friend what happened. I told my mom. And my mom is like, you're going to die. I'm going to lose you there. And I'm like, Mom, I have 3 days left, but I'm going to be coming earlier than I thought. And that happened to the weekend. That happened. Sunday came. Monday, I was always off on Mondays. I pretended I had a new client that was just within where we lived. And then I dressed up, carried my bag like I'm going to work. My mom was ready, my uncles were ready, my auntie was ready. Went to the cops. And I told the cops that I want to leave an abusive marriage,
We're getting to the end.
but my husband, the mom, would not let me. And they would not let me live with my child. The lady I was talking to asked me, how old was your child? I told them my child was 5 months. They were like, in shock. They're like, what would he be doing with a 5-month-old? I'm like, I also don't know. And that was that. I was told to come back on Tuesday. But that Tuesday, they were going somewhere. All of them, the whole cop station, they were going to another neighboring county for something. So I wouldn't find someone, especially in the children's services, who are going to help me. So I was told to come back on Wednesday. I couldn't go back home because now the cop has now called Bumpy and told them what's now happening. So Bumpy is at home with my daughter and my nanny, alone. I am afraid. I don't know what he'll do to my daughter. I don't know what he'll do to the nanny. The nanny called me and told me she's about to leave and I'm not yet home. And I told her to pass by my mom's because she knew where my mom lived. She'd seen me being beaten. She knew exactly what was going on.
Damn, like
I told her, you just continue.
you can't even trust this guy with the nanny and the daughter. Shit. That's messed up, yo.
Going until the day I will come with cops to take my daughter's things, my things, and we go. So I had told her to ensure that all my daughter's things are always clean and like kept vizuri, just in case anything happens, it's just going. She's like, sure. And now she'd update me. She'd get home and then she'd tell me, my baby is fine. Of course, she's fussy because she's not breastfed. Me on my end, my boobs are solid rock because I'm still breastfeeding. I left with nothing, not a pump, not anything. So they are like hard. And I was constantly crying because I'm worried for my daughter. I'm also worried for my own self because I don't know what he's going to do at this point. So we are summoned. We are there Wednesday morning. We go and our parents are outside and we have to enter a specific room and we are talking. And for some reason, the gentleman who was listening to our case just said, nyinyi, watu wawili kwa blanketi mkishikana, yenyu ni mapenzi tu mtarudiana. Like that man just said, you two have been together. People who sleep on the same bed. You never know anything about them. You're just young and you just seem like you're in love. So this is just a rough patch. You'll get back together.
This is a cop.
Yes. And I just told the cop, that's okay. And
Fuck, you see how lazy that motherfucker is? I told you, Kenyan police, lazy ass motherfucker. Did you just hear that comment? Oh, you guys will just get back together. It's just a rough patch. Like, no fucking investigation, no effort is made to, like, getting the stories from each partner and just trying to figure out what the hell's going on in this relationship. Oh, it just from looking at them, he just already made this assumption that, oh, it's just young love. They're just having a bumpy patch. Fuck, these guys are lazy. I don't wonder they have those stomachs that look like they're pregnant, like with triplets.
that day, that's fine. For now, we are here. This is what I want. So he's trying to listen to our stories because that's how it goes. He speaks, I speak. He speaks, I speak. And all through, I can just hear him saying, oh, it's because I don't want to listen. I'm refusing to be submissive. I don't want to be peaceful. It's because of my insecurities. But overall, I'm just in love with him. And this is just a rough patch. That's what he says, not bumpy. And I agree. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay. So I asked him, all those times you hit me, it's because you loved me, right? All those times you left our home with knowing that you're supposed to be somewhere, trying to get a job or doing something, but instead you're in a woman's house. That was also because you loved me. I asked him, all those times you were talking ill about me to another woman to gain their favor, I'm guessing that's also because you loved me. Every time you did not acknowledge that I had your child and acknowledge your child, it's also because you loved her way too much, right? So I just told the gentleman, the cop, our child is 5 months. I want to leave him and I want to live with my child. And I think for a moment he just saw how done I was because I was not arguing about anything. I was just like, it's okay. So he agreed. I was given my child. There was a form that had to be signed that I was primary custodian. that I had the 100% custody of my child. And there was somewhere else that needed to be signed that he also has 100% access to his child. So if he wants to come visit and all that, that's fine. But he specifically told me he wants nothing to do with the child. And I said, it's okay. Either way, I want it written there and we'll sign. So that in case...
Wait, what? Now he doesn't want anything to do with the child. He wasn't even letting her go away with the child. Now he wants nothing to do with the kid. What the... what did I say? Weak dad, weak father, man. That's it. Weak father figure.
Of anything, we'll refer to that specific document. Let it not be said, I refuse you to come see your child.
Yeah, but it's a good thing that she's signing something.
We went
now.
home to his house with a very big lorry. I took my clothes. I was so done to a point. All the furniture I brought from my small bedsitter, I didn't want any of them. I just took a specific shelf that I loved. And I packed everything and I left. My clothes, my baby's clothes. The rest that I left, I was just like, I'll buy others. And we left and we kept quiet. Yes. And 3-4 months later, we got in touch. The reason we got in touch is because of me. I actually called him because he had documents that we forgot to take, the birth notification of my daughter, that I forgot to carry on the day I was leaving, which I looked for in the house where when I moved back in with my mom and I couldn't find them. And then later on I found out that they're actually there. It's only that my mom put them somewhere different. He asked to come see his daughter. And I was like, just like when we left the cop station, you have access to your daughter. I even asked him, do you want to come see her now? Because I'm off today. And he's like, yes. So he came, gave him directions to where we live now. And he came. My daughter could not recognize his dad at all. The dad was so excited to see the daughter. And the daughter saw him and cried at the top of her lungs. And I had to take her back, and I'm like, you can't take her with all that excitement. She's going to be scared. She doesn't know you. She's not familiar with you. He was like, okay. But this man tried. He tried to rekindle what he had with the daughter. But of course, it wasn't happening as fast as he wanted. And then on that day that he came, I noticed my daughter fell ill. She got a very high fever. Okay, she had the fever, but I just assumed maybe it's the change of climate. So I had told him, she's not been feeling well, so don't take how she's acting offensively. She just might be what she's feeling. They bonded in the car. I had to sit in the car with my daughter because she kept looking behind just to confirm that I was there. She was okay.
The guy wasn't even there when she was born. Like, let that sink in. I got a perfect meme for this.
It's an evil world we live in.
That guy wasn't there when she was born. Then he didn't want her to go away and leave the daughter behind, or he didn't want the daughter her to go with the daughter first. And now in front of the cops, he's like, I want nothing to do with the daughter. She can keep the daughter. Man, this is some messed up shit,
Okay.
yo.
He also kept asking, how are you? And I'm like,
And now he's coming to visit her.
I'm good. I had to remind him, remember, you're here because of the child. Don't bother about how I am. As you can see, I'm
Okay, me personally, if I was at the freaking police station writing over there that statement, like, you're giving me 100% custody and you're not allowed to freaking even come near the daughter as well. Because you're a freaking risk at that point. Dude, there's some freaking mental problem with you. You need to go to a freaking asylum or something. That's where you need to go.
fine, right? Good. And then
Man, this chick has patience. Like, damn. Like, you know how many times she's given this guy so many opportunities? Shit. There's something you can learn from her, actually. Like, the amount of patience that she has. The amount of patience and, like, damn, but it's really sad. Like, I don't think anyone should be treated. Like, she was just with the wrong person. That's it. Like, imagine if she met another guy that was at least, you know, even if he made, you know, we all make mistakes. Like, she would be so freaking understanding. She's been understanding from like day one. Damn.
later on, he's like, let's just keep tabs, then we can try and talk about co-parenting. You know?
You know, there are women these days, let me just throw some shade here. The women these days, you don't message them daily. You don't message them like within a couple of seconds. When they've messaged you, they start feeling like, screw this guy. They don't have any tolerance. Like, look at the level of tolerance and freaking understanding that this woman has. And I think that there's a lesson there to be learned as well. Like, you should have some tolerance, but not to the point where you allow someone to take you for a ride completely. And some people will take advantage of that. So you need to find that perfect balance where you can be understanding, but at the same time, not allow someone to take advantage of you, basically. Yeah.
I was like, cool. So this one specific day, it was at night, I just texted, your daughter is really unwell. Do you mind picking us up tomorrow morning so that you can take her to hospital? He was like, okay. He came, picked us up, we went to hospital. She had a bacterial infection. So the type of medicine that they needed to give my daughter was injections, and we had to go there for 3 days in a row. It means I had to see this man 3 days consecutively. Would sit in the car like total strangers, just him playing with the daughter on his lap, driving like that. Then fast forward to when it was my daughter's birthday. We're still co-parenting. I had booked birthday photo shoot sessions with my daughter, and I remembered, how about I asked the dad to join in so that once she grows up, she'll have like memories and see that he was in photos and all. So for me, it was just being considerate. And then he came, we had the shoot. And then after, he said he wants to spend the day with the daughter. And I was like, cool. Because the following day was the party. So I had to go buy a few stuff. So I was like, this will take something off my plate. And he's like, before you give me the daughter, how about we first go for lunch, all of us as a family, since it's her birthday? And I'm like, sure. We're there, we've ordered food, and he's like, you know what? I want us to talk. I'm just like, you always have an agenda. Of course, you wouldn't want to have lunch as a family and just be quiet. Like, no, I just want to talk about something.
Yeah, you see even these attempts that he's now trying to bring the family together. And you're absolutely right, Miriam. Like, imagine not only has he passed on those genes now to the daughter, but the more time that he spends with the daughter, he might even teach her some stupid shit, stupid behaviors that he's doing. So, I mean, this is not someone that should be raising kids to begin with.
And he's like, it's been so and so months we've been apart. During this month, I've had a lot of self-reflect and talking to you and seeing how my daughter is doing. I don't want to be in her life. And I'm like, that's why we're co-parenting. That's why we are figuring it out. Long story short, we did not come to an agreement. And at the end of that conversation, his specific words were, if that's the case, if we're not going to be getting back together, now or in future, I don't want anything to do with your child. And if anybody asks me, you no longer exist to me, you and your daughter.
Finally. Now we're getting some progress here. We are finally getting some progress. Where's the nice?
Nice.
And I was like, okay. And that has been that. So since then, I have been figuring out parenting as a single mom, which has been amazing. And yeah.
Wow. Now, here's the other fact that you need to listen to. And I feel like this is the sad part. This is the sad reality. Yes, we empathize. We feel sorry for what Sophia has gone through. Let me ask you, do you think any man will be ready to take her up and be with a single mom after all this trauma that she has gone through, all this baggage that she's gone through? Do you think a man will be willing? I don't think most men will be willing. Most men will be like, I want to stay away from this drama. I want to stay away from all of this baggage. I don't want to be related to Bumpy and Bumpy's second wife, third wife, fourth wife, and his family. I don't want anything to do with that shit. No matter how amazing, we have already established how amazing Sophia is. We know she's an amazing woman. Like, she's so tolerant and everything. But even though she is an amazing person, I don't think people like men, potential men, future men will take her seriously. I don't know. Maybe things might be a bit different, but I don't know, man. It will be very difficult for her to find, another partner now that she's got, a child and she's a single mom, basically. So that also needs to be taken into consideration. So, god damn.
I'm even speechless. Wow. I don't even know, man. Sophia. So let me just ask, in your perspective, as an obvious victim of domestic violence, and I'm asking this question, I know it might be a bit controversial, but I want to ask because we know statistically that women who are in abusive relationships, it takes something like, the average is something like 7 or 8 times of leaving before they finally leave. And this is an average, meaning it could be 15 or it could be less than that.
Yeah.
So in your mind...
Exactly. She would even have trust issues now with men. Yeah, because, I mean, that is a really abusive, messed up relationship that she's just been through. So she's got trust issues. She's not going to be as tolerant now. Obviously, she's now become hardened because now she won't be as understanding. Now, even a small mistake, she'd think maybe this is a red flag. So even you have to think of it like that as well. So, yes, she's come out strongly. At least she survived this ordeal, but it has left a scar on her. If it's not physically, but like mentally, not physically, but mentally. It's left a scar on her that she has to live with for the rest of her life, and things like this don't just go away like that. Like this has probably been years of torment and torture and all that kind of stuff. So, man, that's crazy.
Going back to the state of mind you were at when the beatings would happen, what was making you stay? Was it a hope? Was it still love for this man? Was it almost like a shock? Like, what is the psychology of somebody in that situation?
Okay, before she answers, I think even that remaining hope and love that she had, I'm pretty sure he beat it out of her. There's no hope and love left now at all. Like, it's like a flower. You've left it out in the sun for too long. You've not watered it. And it has just dried up and become this hardened shell that now there's no hope and love left at that point to trust anyone out of there. Yeah, physically and mentally. Exactly. Yeah, actually from the story, she's probably got like physical scars as well. So those are going to be with her for the rest of her life. And her daughter is going to grow up and ask her these questions. Mom, what happened?
Mine was both hope and love. And truth be told was the validation. Not having a dad for the longest time, I wanted that manly validation. And I didn't know how much I needed it until I was in that situation.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you from the beginning of this story? Man, I need to, where's is there a meme here? Oh my God! She just needed a good dad from the beginning. If she had a good father figure from the beginning, she wouldn't have been looking for that shit in her husband. Damn. Oh my God. Wow.
That he chose me. I wanted him to choose me. I wanted him to see me. I wanted him to pick me and sit me. So with that in mind, and me loving him endlessly, and hoping that one day it's going to be me, it made me stay.
And right now, looking at everything you've been through, when you look at your daughter, because now she's also going to be raised by a single mom, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But you've just said there's almost a gap that a male figure had never filled in your life. And so when this first man comes at a very tender age of 20, you take to it and you end up doing things that you have. I mean, listen, if you want to have a threesome, have a threesome. I have friends who do that shit and I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Good, cool story. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you're in a situation where you don't want to be just because you're trying to appease someone, I mean, and that is very intimate. And then the fact that he had his way with you forcefully and you're still like, okay, maybe. So maybe you don't have the answer for this, but like, what are some of the things that go through your head when you think about your child?
Now that I've seen it now with my daughter, being there and the validation I needed and what I went through to get that validation, I know that what I would have wanted not to end up in such a situation would be validation from home. My uncles, now that I'm older, are able to have conversations with me. So I'd feel validated.
Yeah,
I'd
but those
date
fuckers
somebody
weren't
and
there when you
check
needed them.
with my uncle. Because we had
Like, none of these men were there when you needed them. So, what the fuck, man? It all comes down to, like, having your family's back. Your family having your back, sorry. Yeah, like, these men were not there. Like, and it's so fucked up. It's happening now more than ever. Like, for our generation now, because with technology and everything, everyone wants to be isolated and live alone and do their own shit and be independent and all that kind of stuff. And where the freaking hell is your backup, man? Where's your family? Where are your parents? Where is your family to help you, support you, and guide you? Damn, man. Now the freaking uncles show up. She never mentioned the uncles the whole story. Now the uncles show up.
at that level. I just wish such conversations started when I was younger.
Oh, there you go.
Because honestly, if they did, and if they were that actively present as they are now,
Yeah.
situations would have been different. So knowing that and seeing how important it was, and as much as parenting is trial and error, I'll still try validating the same with my daughter to a point where validation is never something that...
Now, I think the only hope now is if the uncles are there, that the uncles need to also now be in the daughter's life. Her dad needs to be in the daughter's life. All these all these male figures, they need to be in the daughter's life. That's how I feel like this can work. Yeah, and she didn't open up everything to the uncles until things got worse. Exactly. And maybe she was like scared about it or something. Maybe she didn't feel like it was the right thing to do. She didn't want to be judged, I guess, at that point. But man,
that would get her into a situation ever.
But you see now, like prolonging that whole process has just made it worse. So there's a saying, the whole stitch in time saves 9 kind of thing. So yeah, it just kind of applies here, I guess.
So I'd validate the way she walks, the way she talks. I'd correct it as well. I'd correct things that she does that maybe are not aligning with her, to a point where she is secure in herself. That it doesn't ring that I need somebody else to tell me this. She's just so secure and firm in herself that she knows that she is it. That's the one thing that I would do.
If there is a woman right now who's listening to this who is in a similar situation,
Yeah.
what would you tell her?
That respectfully, it doesn't get better. I know they all say, oh, they change, oh, this happens. No. It does not get better. I've not had 2-3 stories that have gotten better.
Exactly, Mariam.
In fact, it gets worse. So if they hit you once, trust me, it'll happen again, and then it'll be more intense, and then
Yeah,
apology will
exactly.
be greater
Actions
than
speak
the
louder than
offense.
words. Actions speak louder than words. What is being said and what is being done, you watch the actions. Okay. I think I'm done with this story, man. There's a little bit left, but I think it's just questions back and forth. I don't know, Miriam. Do you wanna hear it all the way till the end, or what do you think? What do you think? Let me know. Do you wanna keep going here? This story is just, hey, man.
And then it goes like that. So if this bouquet of sorry was small, the next one will be big, and then bigger. That's how it goes. Until the next moment, it's roses on your casket. Yeah.
And I do want to also point out that it's usually the most dangerous for the woman when she decides to leave.
Yeah.
So publicly declaring it to this person is probably not the best way to do it, like you did. And I'm only saying this for anyone who is listening, man or woman.
Yes.
Because, it could go either way.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Holy shit. Yeah, it can actually go either way. So, it could be the situation where even the woman's like the abusive one and always likes to fight and, pick up fights. And man, that's actually an interesting story. I haven't heard one. I think I've heard a few, but they haven't been like documented properly, or maybe they haven't been taken seriously. Interesting. Something that we can listen to.
Feel wrong for asking this, but I have to ask, are there lessons, takeaways, things looking back that you're like, some flags you might have missed, because usually I ask, do you think there are things that you might have done by action or omission that contributed to the chaos that was your relationship. Are you in a position to answer that?
Yes. Are there flags I missed? Big ones. They were red, bright red, scarlet red that I didn't see. Why? Again, the validation. The validation and the thing that's always missing from home is the one that you'll never see. And that, in my case, that's exactly that. So I learned to always check. There's always a reason. There's never, I'm sorry, they always know what they're doing. That's the one thing I know for our fact. The other thing
No comment.
would be, if they show you who they are, believe them.
Miriam,
I
if you
know
were an
it's a
abusive
phrase
woman,
we always
if you were an abusive, okay, let's say for instance you're an abusive woman. Let's not even. You know what? We can actually let's put a pin in that. We'll have a conversation about that at a later stage.
say. But that's just in plain words what it means. If they
Some men can't stand up for themselves, and maybe they'll just maybe society has just told them it's a normal thing. It's okay if your woman hits you, it's fine, it's okay. We'll just let it just slide. She's just letting out her emotions. It's just let me not say much. Let me just keep quiet. We'll talk about it some other time.
to the first time, that's who they are. Don't wait for the second, don't wait for the sorry. That's exactly who they are. Because there's nothing you can do as a grown person that is not workable, that is not detachable, and there's nothing that can be done that you cannot walk away from. So yeah, the things I learned from it is, I think they're more intimidated when they know of your value. So they will try and minimize and dim you from seeing your value because they know it and they're afraid of it. So
And they're afraid that you will know it too.
Yes, and you will tap into it and you will grow from it. And so if they dim that, you go less. So that's what they did.
This actually applies to even in the workforce. Like if you are working for a company and you don't know what you're worth, your employer is going to underpay you. And obviously he's going to take advantage of the fact that you don't know how much you're worth. Like if you don't know I'm supposed to be paid 50,000 a month, let's say for instance 50,000 Kenyan shillings a month is what you need to be paid a month, but he's actually paying you 30,000 and he just wants to underpay you because he wants to make as much money as possible, isn't it? He wants to, if he can get away with underpaying you, he'll do it. It's the same thing, the same logic here when in the relationship. If you don't know what you're worth, your partner will take advantage of that and use it against you.
And now I know. I only will want the people who see the value.
But you see now, finding out what you're worth, that's on you. You need to freaking do that. Like find yourself, like know what you are worth. Like I don't know how to explain this, but you need to go through some experiences. You need to ask some questions. You need to do some research and find where do you fit in the marketplace? Where do you fit in the whole, what's the term, SMV or something like that? Yeah. You can't be looking like a frog and then telling people that you look like a 10. And you can't be looking like a 1 and then telling people, or you can't be looking like a 10 and telling people that you look like a 5, because then people will take advantage of you. Oh, she's so insecure about her body. Let's just, let's move in and take advantage. So it plays either way. You need to know where do you stand in that whole SMV thing.
I want you to tap into a value that I doubted, and that's when it's going to work. Yeah.
What hope do you have for your future and even your daughter's future?
That's a good
And
point.
where would you say you are right now in relation to everything that you went through at such a young age?
I'm at a good space now. I'm able to talk about it without crying, at least. I'm also at a space where I also know I will not fully blame my partner for what happened. I had a role to play as well. I will now work on things that I know were genuinely not correct, not the ones that I was told are not correct because they wanted to get their way. What I see for myself in the future, I'm guessing relationship-wise?
No, anything wise. Personal development wise, yes, relationship, career. Where do you want to be? What are some of your things that you're like, you know what, that would be nice?
I'll start with the relationship. For once, I'd want a relationship where you're not asking at all. I know it sounds cliche because Your partner is not supposed to read your mind, I know. But I don't want a partner that is so in sync with me that they would know exactly what I need. And I'm also so in sync with them that I would know what to say, what to build, and what to correct. A partner that's gentle as well. And for once, because I'm always saying this, a partner that provides. For once, I'd also just want to sit and see a man being in that role and not me.
Look, man, I know this is going to sound tough and fucked up, but I just have to say this. Your first relationship, you didn't have these requirements. Your first relationship, when you were looking for a dude, you didn't ask if he had a good job and he was able to provide the bill. So why do you want one now? I know it's fucked up. It's a fucked up thing. Like, you had lower standards. Now why are you raising your standard? Because you've gone through all that shit. Yes. You've gone through all that shit. Now so you've raised your standards. But you have to also understand that as you age, as you get older, as you've gone through life, your SMV drops. And it goes for both men and women at different rates for both of them. But still, it still drops. So you can't have higher standards as you age. But oh man, this is so fucked up. All right, I think I'm done, man. I want to call it a day. It has been an amazing session with all of you guys. Miriam, I don't know if you want to make any one last comment, whatever. Whoever else is watching, one last comment, one last say, and then we call it a day. I mean, this is a live session. It's supposed to be interactive, so interact, bitches. Okay, not bitches in that sense, but like, I was just like, it was just a saying. But yes, you know what I mean. One last comment of the day. Then we call it a day. Then we call it a day, a day, a day, a day, a day. Oh man, I need to get a haircut. Okay. Sounds like there's nothing left. All right. Thank you for checking out the channel. Or maybe there's a delay. I'll give it like another 2 seconds. All right. I'm done. Wait. Okay, thank you, Miriam. Thank you for checking out the content and for your contributions and your comments, and have a fantastic Sunday, and I will see you guys in the next one. Go and check out the freaking new song that I just posted today. And that's it. Bye.